Students, I hope you all are doing good. In our previous class, we discussed about colligative properties. So what were colligative properties? Colligative properties are those properties of dilute solutions containing non-volatile solute which are directly proportional to the mole fraction of the solute. They don't depend upon the nature of the solute or nature of the solvent or the nature of the solution, but they only depend upon the number of solute particles present in the solution. Also in the last class we discussed about the four colligative properties in details, which were relative lowering of vapor pressure, elevation in boiling point, depression in freezing point, and osmotic pressure. Now these four colligative properties are used to determine molecular mass of the dissolved non-volatile solute. Out of all the four properties, osmotic pressure is considered to be the best property for determination of molecular mass, as it is carried out at the room temperature. Now, the molecular mass determined through colligative property methods is found in some cases higher or lower than the actual molecular mass. This molecular mass is called abnormal molecular mass. So we can calculate the molecular mass of solute particles, that means the solute molecules dissolved in the water or the any solvent, with the help of colligative property method. But in some cases, while doing so, the observed molecular mass or the calculated molecular mass with the help of the colligative property is found higher or lower than the actual molecular mass of the solute. So this molecular mass is called the abnormal molecular mass. And why this happens? This happens due to these following two reasons. The number one is dissociation of particles. Number two, association of particles. So let us try to understand them one by one. First, dissociation of particles. Some particles in solution get dissociated into two or more smaller particles, as a result of which the value of observed colligative property is found higher. So here I have taken two examples, KCl and glucose. So suppose we take 2 glasses of water and we add 1 mole of KCl in one glass, and in other one we add 1 mole of glucose. So basically what we are adding is 1 mole of solute particles in both the cases. But when we add 1 mole of KCl and it gets dissolved in water, it gets dissociated into 2 ions, K plus ions and minus ion. So basically this apparently we dissolved 1 mole of solute particles, which on getting dissolved in the solution got dissociated into 2 solute particles. So now the number of solute particles present in the solution remains 2 moles. Whereas in case of glucose, after dissolution into water, it remains undissociated. So the number of solute particles remaining in the solution in this case is 1 mole. So since initially we added 1 mole of KCl and 1 mole of glucose into our two systems, so the expected colligative property must be same. That means the amount of elevation in boiling point should be same. The amount of depression in freezing point must be same. Why? Because these colligative properties, they do not depend upon the nature of the solute or the nature of any solvent or the solution, but it depends upon only the number of solute particles present. So since we added same amount of particles in both the cases, the observed colligative property should be same, is expected to be same. But due to the dissociation of KCl, now the number of solute particles present in the solution being moles, whereas in case of glucose being 1 mole, so in case of KCl the observed colligative property will have a higher value than in case of the glucose. So due to the dissociation of particles, the observed colligative property has a higher value. Now, next, association of particles. So it happens in the similar way. So due to association of particles in the solution, the total number of particles decrease. Consequently, the value of the observed colligative property is found lower. Therefore, the molecular mass is found higher than the actual molecular mass. So, in case of dissociation of particles, the observed colligative property had a higher value, and therefore the molecular mass will have a lower value. Whereas in case of association of particles, the number of particles added decreases. For example, if we add 1 mole of acetic acid in water, after going into the solution, it forms hydrogen bonding like this and forms this dimer. So now the net amount of solute particles present in the solution becomes 0.5 moles. So we added 1 mole of acetic acid. Now after going to the solution, since it forms this kind of dimers, so the net amount of solute particles present in the solution becomes 0.5 moles or half mole. So due to this decrease in the amount of particles, the observed colligative property will have a lower value, and as a result of that, the calculated molecular mass will have a higher value. Now, due to dissociation and association of particles, the colligative properties formula as such cannot be used to determine exact molecular mass. However, by introducing a factor called Van 't Hoff factor, the colligative property formula can be used. So what is Van 't Hoff factor? Now, due to the change in the number of solute particles present in the solution due to dissociation and association of molecules differs from the added number of solute particles. Therefore, this change is addressed by introducing this factor called Van 't Hoff factor. So what is Van 't Hoff factor? Van 't Hoff factor I is equal to the total number of particles after association or dissociation by the total number of particles before association or dissociation. Let us try to calculate Van 't Hoff factor with an example. So at the start of this class, I took this example KCl, K plus Cl minus. So here, if you want to calculate the Van 't Hoff factor, since it undergoes dissociation, so here I will be, as per the formula, I is equal to total number of particles after association or dissociation. So here dissociation occurs. So after dissociation, the total number of particles is 2. Divided by the total number of particles before association or dissociation. So before dissociation it was 1. So here the Van 't Hoff factor is 2. Similarly, in case of acetic acid, due to there is a dimer formation, so I will be, so here association is taking place, the total number of particles after association is 0.5 and before association it was 1. So here the Van 't Hoff factor will be 0.5 or half. So by introducing this Van 't Hoff factor into the colligative properties, his formulas, we can get the modified colligative properties formula, which can be used to calculate the exact molecular mass. So as you remember, the colligative properties, there were 4 colligative properties. The first one is relative lowering of vapor pressure. So the formula for relative lowering of vapor pressure is P naught A minus PA by P naught A is equal to XB. So the modified colligative property we are writing by introducing this Van't Hoff factor. So the modified expression for relative lowering of vapor pressure will now be P naught A minus PA by P naught A is equal to IXB. Now this equation will give you an exact calculation of the molecular mass of the dissolved non-volatile solute. Similarly, for elevation and boiling point, delta TB is equal to IKBM. In case of depression and freezing point, delta TF is equals to IKFM, and in case of osmotic pressure, pi is equal to ICRT. So these are called modified colligative properties, which will give you the exact molecular mass. Here, when we learnt about how to calculate Van't Hoff factor, the example that we took was KCl. Now KCl being a purely ionic solid, it will undergo 100% dissociation. That means complete dissociation into K plus and Cl minus ion. So the degree of dissociation in case of KCl is 100%. So if you are adding 1 mole of KCl, all the 1 mole KCl molecules will undergo dissociation. So in cases of solutes which undergo 100% dissociation, we can directly use the formula of I, which is I is equal to the total number of molecules after dissociation by total number of molecules before dissociation, like we did here. But what about the molecules which does not undergo 100% dissociation? They undergo maybe 40%, 50% dissociation, and the left remains undissociated. So in those cases, we cannot directly use the formula of Van't Hoff factor and calculate it, but we have to take in account the degree of dissociation also. So for such molecules, for dissociation, we can use this formula where alpha is equal to the degree of dissociation, I is the Van't Hoff factor, M is the total number of particles after dissociation. So the formula is alpha is equal to I minus 1 by M minus 1. So now let us try to understand this with an example. So suppose let us take the example of this ferrocyanide, potassium ferrocyanide. So in case of potassium ferrocyanide, let us take the dissociation to be 80%. So the degree of dissociation is 80%. So the value for alpha is equal to 0.8. Okay. I we don't know. I we are going to calculate. M is number of particles after dissociation. So let us try to write the equation. So 4K plus ion plus the ferrocyanide complex. So in total, the number of molecules after dissociation remains to be 5. So now let us calculate the Van't Hoff factor. So degree of dissociation 0.8 is equal to I minus 1 by M means 5 minus 1. So I minus 1 becomes 4 into 0.8. So it becomes 3.2. So I is equal to 4.2. So the Van't Hoff factor in this case will be 4.2. Similarly, for association, we can use this formula where alpha is the degree of association and M here is the total number of particles taking part to form 1 unit of associated particles. Okay, so alpha is equal to I minus 1 by 1 by m minus 1. So here the m that we are going to use is the total number of particles which take part to form 1 unit of associated particles. So if we take the example of acetic acid that we have also done previously, there I have shown it as 100% association, but it is not so. It undergoes a partial association. So in that case, if we take the degree of if it undergoes suppose 50% association, then alpha will be 0.5, and m, since it is the total number of particles taking part to form 1 unit of associated particles, so here we have seen that 2 particles are taking part to form 1 unit of the associated particles. So here m will be 2. So therefore we can calculate the Van't Hoff factor for acetic acid by using this formula. Alpha is equal to I minus 1 by 1 by m minus 1. So with this we finish our chapter, but you need to practice a lot of numerical problems on all the topics in this chapter. So that's all for today. Thank you.